You're listening to Unspooled, the podcast where bad prints become learning experiences, eventually. Hosted by Corey from Moji 3D, who somehow has owned more printers than most people have owned filament, and Steve from Layer by Layer, who may or may not be running a small filament warehouse from home. Each week we dive into printing, projects, people, and the occasional rant. So load your build plate, hit print, and let's get unspooled.
All right, we should be live. Episode 47 of Unspooled. How's everybody doing? For anybody who is in chat for the first time, we are a 3D printing and maker podcast. Myself, Corey, Moji 3D, and Steve, also known as Layer by Layer. And we welcome you. And how are you doing, Steve?
I'm chilling, man. I'm doing pretty good.
What's new in Layer by Layer land?
Nothing really, man. Been working on, as usual, working on a few models. And then pretty much just chilling. Like, I don't know. Summertime's on its way, spring is on, well, we're in full spring now, I guess.
Yep.
So just trying to
like
figure out
us,
some models
just rain.
and getting ready for Murph. Figuring out that whole situation. I mean, outside of that, I've been really chilling. Not doing too much of anything in particular. I was working on releasing my cord organizer today.
So you cut out a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Working on releasing my whole cord organizer thing that I have been working on since last year. Finally, wanted to tweak it a little bit more. Finally did the tweaks. I like where it's at, so I was like, I got like 5 of them in my bag. I carry one with me like all the time. I was like, I might as well just go ahead and release it.
Yep.
So that'll probably be coming out either later today or probably tomorrow or something.
Well, that's cool. So have you been printing anything other than just test print that? Or
I did do some stuff over the weekend. Some more filament waste stuff. I'll pull up a picture for that later on though. But yeah, how about you? What have you been working on?
Same old stuff. I've been working on a retro handheld. So a custom retro handheld, all 3D printed. 2 versions of it. One will be transplanting an existing handheld guts into it, and then another one will be completely different, all new components, nothing from an existing handheld. Been working on other stuff for my Moji bot, which is done, but just working on different mods for it, different sensors, working on different coding stuff with that. New printers that I've been looking at, maybe picking up, but waiting.
Dude, somebody had a Delta, FL Sun QQ near me.
Oh yeah,
like $60. That dude would not reply. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah. I do also have a Delta to build. I've got my Delta Flyer kit. Got everything printed from it. I just got to put it together. Find the time to do that. But just run of the mill stuff, working on my site, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But haven't been, other than test prints, really haven't been printing a whole lot since last week. But I got a lot of stuff to print that I just got to find the time to load them onto the printer and get them going. But
I seen somebody doing some of the I guess the shotgun from what's the other game that's not Arc Raiders? Marathon.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he modeled it himself, but they look really clean. He had it where like you can flick it down and the shotgun barrels will open and all that. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Marathon. I've played Marathon. I'm obviously everybody. I'm an Arc Raiders player fan. I haven't found Marathon as enjoyable for some reason. I don't know. Some people like it, but I don't like the gameplay. But there are a ton of in-game props that would lend very well to 3D design and printing, because they're just the way that they are. They would look really, really good 3D
Yeah,
printed.
everything in that's like really angular, right? It's like really
Yeah, very
glossy.
very straight edges, very like not, well, kind of blocky, like rounded blocky.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
but just everything seems like it would just print, that you would be able to design it and print it well, especially if you were to like assemble it. But I surprised, shockingly, I haven't seen a ton of it. I haven't seen a lot of, and maybe we're just not into that whole cosplay season yet. Um, I suspect this summer, at least in my area, you'll see a lot more of it in the summertime. But
I
so,
feel like people should just cosplay every day, regardless of if you're going to something. There's really no rules on like whether or not someone could just walk in the store dressed as Spider-Man. Like, so why
no,
do
you
people
might
like
get some looks,
do it?
but
You might get some looks, but you
you
only
could just
live
like
once, man. Like,
walk through the. I mean, I have seen, um, I have been in a mall before and just seen
mhm.
like Mandalorian type things, and but just walking around,
Yeah,
no event going on. So it's usually
yeah,
around a
no
time
event.
that like a show comes out, though, or a movie.
I want it with nothing. Like, I want someone just like today. I'm dressed
Just
as
in
the
your grocery
Mandalorian,
shopping,
or like
push
you
your shopping
imagine.
cart around Walmart in Mandalorian suit
You
with
imagine you
Grogu in the
like
basket.
the grocery store and like someone's in there dressed as Thrag from like Invincible or something. You're like, "Yeah, okay,
That would be cool, though.
all right."
I'd be down for that. Yeah. Oh, so if you guys haven't seen, so if you guys follow Wexter, I think I've talked to him earlier, but he's working on. He just did the. I think we talked about it last week, but he did the Conquest.
Yeah.
He's almost done with Alan the Alien, and it looks amazing. So he shared it with me today. I won't post it because I don't know if he has said anything or posted it to anybody, and I don't want to. I don't want to unveil anything. I don't know if he showed it. I didn't catch the last bit of his stream today, but I don't want to. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. But it's really cool. It's perfect. So, and I'm guessing, as he's an Invincible fan as well, more of these Invincible characters will probably be coming. So you'll probably see like Mark and Thrag and Omni Man and all the cool ones. So,
Nice.
but what have you been working other than the Cordganizer? Have you been working on any sculpting stuff?
Uh, Off and on, I have been just like little stuff on like stuff that I have been putting on the back burner for so long.
Yeah,
We're working on that. I need to cut up my Hellboy hand to make it articulate. That's
yeah,
probably gonna be like the next big thing. But what I want to do is I just want to create like a underlying like articulation structure that I could use for anything instead of
yeah,
just making it specifically for Hellboy. That's the one thing I want to do with a lot of stuff is like I I want to have like a base model that has whatever the functionality that I'm looking for, and then use that to make whatever else.
yeah,
So with the hand, I want to kind of create like I guess the bones of it in a sense first, and then apply those bones to the hand.
yeah.
Um, so that if I want to make, uh, Conquest's hand, I can easily make his
Yeah, like
hand or
Thor's or like Thanos's glove or some other,
Thanos' glove, right?
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I
Iron
can
Man
just
glove, something like that.
all of that, just
Yeah,
make it so it's easier to do instead of like having to rebuild it every time. So
yeah,
just make stuff easier. And I also want to do some more patches. Um, but I got kind of scared of TPU because it jammed the in the U1 when I was trying to do something else, and I was like, ooh, let me take the CPU out of here for now. I was
huh?
like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it jammed on me. I was genuinely
Were you
surprised.
running it through the feeders or feeding it directly in?
Running it through, feeding it directly in, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I've printed it. I've printed 95A running it through the feeders, and it's been fine. I don't know if
hmm
I would want to go 90 or softer, but I did finally do a print with 85A, just feeding it into the tool head, and it prints good.
nice.
But I've been able to feed 95A through the feeder without an issue. But
Yeah, it worked. It was when it was working, it was fine. And then like when we came back from, and maybe it had gotten a little damp or something. When we got back from Denver, I did a print and it was like nope and jammed up, and I had to take the whole head apart on the new one.
yeah,
Which, if you ever run into that issue, anybody, Kaizen Prince has a tutorial, like a little short tutorial out that takes you through. His hot end was slightly different than mine, but it takes you through like the bulk of what you need to do. It was like freaking clutch. It's on TikTok,
oh, that's
but
cool.
it was super clutch.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yep. So
You,
we've had some. We had to flip the whole. What is that funny thing they do with the counters of zero drama in the thing industry?
yeah,
So we did
Katie
have.
drama.
Yeah, we did have. I don't know if I know you saw it because you watched it.
Hmm.
But Louis Rossman there, he posted a video about Bamboo sending Orca and again, I'm going to air quote Orca just because we know now that it was not actually Orca. But he had in his video, he states that Bamboo had sent Orca basically a cease and desist letter that they were violating licenses and blah blah blah. There's a whole, if you look at the actual GitHub from it, but it wasn't Orca. Orca has since put out a statement saying nobody on the Orca dev team has received anything from Bamboo, and it was actually another fork of Orca that some guy was working on. He has since pulled all of the repository down. But if you guys are into all of that stuff, if you watch Lewis's video and then you look at that GitHub, it kind of gives like an explanation of it. But I don't know what everybody's opinion on that stuff is. I mean, I'm for open source, so I like that it could be used, but I know some people have stronger opinions on it. But if you're interested in it, Louis Rossman, and then again that GitHub, so find
Yeah.
some information about it. But I don't want to talk a ton about it. Just wanted to mention it just in case someone was seeing it out there.
I mean, like I said, it was interesting.
Yeah.
You know, it's it's just.
Well, like I said, I don't think he's wrong, right?
Oh no.
I think I like Louis Rossman in the sense that he's for protecting open source and protecting the consumer.
Yeah.
I think he can be a little bit heavy handed with it sometimes, but
Yeah.
if you've built your company on some open source infrastructure, then you
Yeah.
remain open, and I think that's kind
Yeah.
of what
Absolutely.
I think that's what his point is, right? Like if you've
Yeah.
utilized that, and then this gentleman wasn't violating any license, he was using the license correctly. So for a successful company like Bamboo to make a legal heavy hand like that seems a little bit of an overstep. So I think that's kind of where he was getting at it with it. It was just unfortunate because he was referencing Orca in the video like it was mainline Orca, like soft fever Orca. And it wasn't. It was a fork of that. So completely separate, just under the same.
I don't disagree with anything that he's saying. It's just that I don't like that he kind of made the person like where he was speaking directly to him like, hey, you should pursue this. You know, like if that person doesn't want to deal with the headache, then they don't want to deal with the headache.
Yeah,
and
and
like
it's not even he might not even have the means to, right? Like
yeah. So I mean Bamboo, it's been interesting with them. I had found an article mentioning that they were trying to force people to use their filament now, uh, kind of like dictating that you should only use bamboo filament with bamboo printers.
and the
Basically,
base behind that, from what I understood, was that they were saying that unless you use their filament, they couldn't guarantee print
The
quality
quality.
or
Yeah.
the success of a print. And I get that. I get
It,
that because
that's
they're basing their profiles off their filament, which I can
it,
understand.
that's also dangerous though for them to say because now you're guaranteeing that I'm gonna have success if I use your film,
Correct. Yeah.
as opposed to, and it could like I don't know legal stuff like that, but it's kind of like saying like, hey, yeah, if you use anybody else's stuff, it's gonna be crap.
Yeah.
With ours, we can guarantee success or
Yeah.
greater success, and
Which
that's
we all know that's
not
false, right?
necessarily true. Yeah,
We all
exactly.
know that's false.
We know it's false,
Yes.
but the you know, I also feel like it's something that they kind of really didn't have to say because anybody there's tons of people out there who already think that. They already think that you can only use bamboo filament with bamboo printers. Like, and then you have people who find out from people like us that you can use other filament.
Yeah.
I think it was a statement that really didn't need to be said unless you're trying to pull back those people who started using other filament,
Yeah.
because people who are using your filament aren't going to change all of a sudden.
No.
You know.
I mean, they may venture out if they find a
Yeah.
spool here and there on Amazon that might be less expensive, they may try it. But the vast majority of people that are bamboo filament only and bamboo ecosystem only are going to be there, and there was no need to say it, because now that you've said it, now
Yeah.
that you've stated it, you come across as trying to, like what everybody has said with bamboo, trying to block outside third-party stuff and saying that you can only use bamboo
Yeah.
stuff, because we've said it in the past that I've talked to people who are 17 years old and have a bamboo mini that actually thought that was the case, right? They only thought that they could use bamboo filament on it. And I was like, oh, have you tried Polymaker? Have you tried Inland? Have you tried whatever? And they're like, oh, I can't. I have a bamboo printer. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
you can, right? Like, so yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the complaint that a lot of people have had with bamboo, is that I'm fine with you having your ecosystem, and a lot of people are going to stay within that, and it's going to be
Yeah.
successful, and they're going to print good, and it's going to be great. But I don't think that's going to be for everybody, and I don't think if you buy a bamboo printer and you bought one in the past that you should be locked into that if you don't want
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's where the Louis Rossman of the world is as well, is that he's very much for the, I bought the machine and it needs to work now, and because you've changed something after purchase, that shouldn't change how I expect to use my piece of equipment, right? And
Yeah.
and he's right, like you said, I think he's right. Sometimes the delivery can be a little different, but
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yes, I don't
But
think anything will ever. I would hope that bamboo would never try to officially lock in their filament, like saying, unless your machine RFID scans one of our filament, it's just not going to work, right? Like, but
I mean, honestly though, who would have thought, what's it been like 3 years now of bamboo? Who would have thought that they would become kind of like a villain, in this 3D printing story to an
yeah,
extent?
unfairly,
Like,
I think. I mean, unfairly in a lot of ways,
yeah,
fairly in some, because they've done some stuff that is kind of questionable, that makes them
yeah,
feel like that evil corp, right? Like
yeah,
from Mr. Robot, like. Um, so I get. I think anybody who has the view of bamboo being the evil empire has their reasons, and they're probably valid. But for the most part, I mean, I don't think bamboo and their leaders are behind the scenes acting
no,
that way on purpose.
no,
Like
exactly.
um, I just think it's. I think sometimes when you become top tier in
Yeah,
whatever you do, there's always going to be groups of people that target you for whatever reason, whether it's valid or not. And like I said, I think a lot of the gripes that people have with bamboo are valid. I think some people just target them just to target them, and they really don't have a reason. In the end, I'm like, use bamboo or don't. But
Yeah.
If you use them, then if you complain about them, then get rid of their machines and move something else and move on, right? You don't have to keep complaining about it, like
Yeah.
just stop using it if you have an issue with it. But
Yeah. That's
yeah,
the biggest thing is that, people kind of get tied up into the whole, uh, ecosystems. And that's kind of why I stay away from a lot of the printer specific discords because uh, sometimes it seems like the answers you would get in those places aren't necessarily the unbiased answer.
yeah,
Uh, but uh, like we've entered the age of like printers print, for the most part. Filament, for the most part is like back in the day, no one would buy a $10 roll of filament from Amazon because you'd be like, this is gonna be terrible. I'm
oh
gonna
yeah. Amazon
I'm gonna
Basics filament was garbage for a
be
long
like,
time.
yeah, I'm gonna gum up my machine. And now it's like you see brands popping up like, every few months with filament, be they white labels of another brand's filament or not.
Yeah,
And that really hasn't been an issue of, this filament is, 10 times better than the other filament. There are filaments that uh I've never had any issues with. And I'm just speaking from my own personal point of view. There's some filaments that I probably would never buy again. Um, but you know, I still would use them. I just know going in that using this filament I may run into an issue.
yeah.
Um, so it
And
just
I
seems
never
like
had,
real quick. It's a little predatory in my opinion for them to put that warning in there because now if you're a new person that's already printing, now in your head you can't use anything but bamboo.
yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of deceptive.
Yeah, because then at the point, like once they use it, even if someone says no, you can, right? Like you can use
Yeah.
another filament. A lot of people just wouldn't do it just
Yeah.
because I spent a lot of money on that machine, right? And if I believe
Hmm.
you and
Yep.
go against the company and I mess my machine up, I'm gonna feel real bad, right? So I'm just gonna stick.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna stay with it. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's yeah, it's just one of those things where like we know it's not true, but a lot of people are gonna believe it.
Oh
Um,
yeah, for sure. For sure.
but again, how many of those people that are gonna believe it are gonna only use bamboo filament anyways? Probably a lot of them, right?
A
Like
lot of them, they
yeah.
are, dude.
So I'm who
They'll wait till
knows
it's in
if
stock again.
yeah,
It
it does seem a little bit irresponsible, in my opinion,
is.
for them to say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I like for filament, like I don't think I've ever had a line of filament, right? Like a G-Tech. I've had a few spools of
Mm.
G-Tech over the years that just didn't print well, right? But I've had other
I,
rolls
I
that
had
printed
I had
fine.
one.
Yeah. But I don't think I've ever had a specific brand of filament where I have had 25 rolls of that filament and it just all printed bad, right? Like
Yeah.
I've had bad Polymaker rolls, I've had bad Elegoo rolls, I've had bad
Yeah.
Overture rolls, but it's one or two, right, over the time. It's I don't think I've ever had a filament where I've bought it and just all of it has been garbage. G-Tech is probably the only one where I've had like that was pretty suspect. I had more bad spools of G-Tech than I think the average, but
Hmm.
I've still got some of their stuff. Like I liked their silver. They had a silver PLA, um, and it was the only one out of the group that I bought when I bought them years ago that printed well, and it prints well. And I still have a couple rolls of it now, and it still prints good. But then I bought like a couple of their pinks and a purple, and those were dreadful. But
Mm.
you never know.
I've, I've had one roll of G Tech
Yeah,
and it was terrible.
yeah.
I've not bought another roll of G Tech since.
Well, so uh, this year, did you ever have Rep Wrapper?
Oh, I've heard horror stories about Rep Rapper.
Yeah.
But I've never had it. I've never used it though.
So Rep Wrapper was like it was like when it came out, it was like blanket across social media. Everybody was like, "Don't buy that filament. It's garbage filament. It's the worst ever."
Yeah.
I bought 6 rolls of this pink, and this is the last bit of it I have left, and it prints great. Never had a problem with it. But everybody I talked to that had this filament, whether it was 1 roll or 10 rolls,
Hmm.
said that they had nothing but problems with it. And I never
Yeah,
had an issue with it. Maybe
I
this one
saw.
was just good,
Yeah, it might
but
have been. I saw firsthand the friend who had issues with it.
yeah,
I saw firsthand his issues, so it wasn't like he just told me and then I just went with it.
yeah,
He had issues. I was like, "Wow, that's crazy." I wouldn't have bought it anyway because I live close to Micro Center, so
yeah,
I just don't like certain stuff. I'm not gonna unless it's that unique of a color that I will take a leap on it. But for the
yeah,
most part, I mean, but also my very first roll of Polymaker, I still have it. It was muted blue. Is it muted blue? Yeah, muted blue. It, I still have it. It was
yeah,
terrible, but
yeah,
that didn't keep me from getting other stuff from them. But that very first one was terrible.
yeah.
Um,
And I've never
but
had, like, from Polymaker, I've never had any. I had 1 roll where there was something in the first probably 150 grams. I
mhm,
ran into a part where there was just some foreign material in the
mhm,
filament, and it clogged, and it was like um, sticky and gummy and different color than the material. It was like
mhm,
it was PLA, but it was like ASA or PETG or something got in it in the part,
mhm,
and it gummed up, it clogged. It was awful. Um, and then I've had a few others where there was like a tangle in it. But I think that was the only roll of poly, other than the CoPE, which I'm not even going to get into that stuff. I hated that stuff. Um, but that was the only roll of Polymaker that I really ever had that the filament itself was bad. Um, I've been pretty stable with those. Same with Elegoo. I've had like a couple rolls where there was like a kink in it, but again, I could never verify if that was just me making a mistake when I was
mhm.
unrolling it and I accidentally crisscrossed. I mean, who knows? I don't think it's common that they tangle it from the factory. But
All right.
you never know. So, but very rarely do I think G-Tech is probably the only one where I've had multiple rolls where I didn't
Yeah.
have success. But and
Yeah,
then
G-Tech was the one for me. It was just like, no, I'm good.
yeah,
I
and
mean, but
G-Tech
also,
seemed to be the whole like across the board. Like anybody I know of that has ever tried G-Tech
yeah,
says exactly the same thing.
like
Uh,
G-Tech is the Spirit airline of filament, is what I'm
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to say.
I got CoPE. I got some Overture Turbo PLA up there, which is CoPE, and that stuff. That stuff does not need to be spoken. It's like Voldemort of filament. Like
I have one roll of Kopi and it's white, and I plan on using it as like support material.
that's what that is. I got 2 rolls of the white Turbo PLA left, but that's the only thing I would use it for. Is I would use it for support material.
Yeah.
But
I didn't buy it for anything besides using it as support material.
yeah,
I wish if they would have had natural, that would have been even better. I wish they had natural, because then that would have been amazing to use as a support material or interface layer or something like that.
yeah, yeah, white's fine. I mean, it doesn't. Guess it doesn't really matter the color, right? As long as it doesn't leave
White's fine, but I mean
residue.
natural, you don't have to worry about the some little specks to
Yeah,
transfer or
yeah.
whatever. You
If
don't
any of
have
the
to worry
pigment
about
and
it.
color. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So, the should we talk about the printer company that we were talking about prior to you, me, and Matt? So
Oh yeah,
Matt's
we can bring it up.
shaking no.
I mean, yeah, no,
So do we let
yeah, yeah.
so
I
do we
mean,
let that
no,
cat out of the bag, or do we keep that
no.
close to our vest until we have it?
We keep it close to us until we have
Okay.
it.
All right. So we are not going to that will remain unnamed until
It does
we know
make
more.
us gatekeeping though, right? Ah, when
Well,
does the
I
Kickstarter
like
actually start?
I view it like, we kind of have an obligation, right? Because
We do.
we're here to talk
I
about
don't. I don't want
stock.
to talk about it though.
I
It's
know.
too cheap. It's too cheap.
Yeah. And there's limited quantities, right? Or even right now
Yes,
for even the stuff that's available. Um, and if
we
and if
probably
we
shouldn't talk. It'll be irresponsible for us to talk about it. Okay, so we probably should just leave it alone.
Uh, it's just so cool, though.
It
What's to
is
come is cool. The stuff that's existing is cool. I have experience
exactly.
with
And
this. I have experience with this coolness.
I might want
There's
one of the
one right
ones
over there.
that's there and cool right now. Dude,
Yeah.
real quick, a
Okay.
sidebar. What happened to was it Wonder Maker or Wonder Make? What happened to them?
I don't know. I think I thought they shipped some of their
Did
Kickstarter
they?
units, but they kind of fell off the.
The radar altogether, dude.
Yeah,
Wonder
I
Maker
thought
3D.
is anybody in chat that backed it?
That's a good
Um,
question. Or that
you know,
received
Zombie did. Maybe I
a
think Zombie did. But yeah, I don't know. The ZR, right? The ZR and the ZR Ultra.
yeah. Oh,
It,
Madhouse
their
said
sites,
Zombie.
yeah, their
Site's
site's
still up
still
and
up,
running. Yeah.
but you can't buy it. It just says request a quote.
I kind of were they U.S. based or no? No, they weren't
So
U.S. based.
from what I heard, the hardware was suspect.
Oh man.
Something about somebody actually got one and there were like wires hanging all over the place, and so the actual construction of it was pretty suspect. And then also the firmware was garbage. Oh geez, what was that company that there's a company years ago that I got a beta machine from, and I told them flat out, I said, it doesn't work. The printer doesn't work. The firmware doesn't work. And I can't remember the name of it. But somebody had told me that like it was just bad, like the Wonder Maker. And I don't think it was the multicolor. I think it was just the straight ZR, but there was like wires hanging all over the place and that the firmware was bad. But
So Sam got a copy of it. Got one.
yeah.
Zachary 3D Prints. He got one. Uh, LT 3D looks like he got one as well. And there's a video on there at the bottom of their page that is now private. So now I'm wondering what happened with that video.
Yeah.
But they got a
So
couple
they
videos
had
on their
posted
page.
a video which confirmed like the wiring, because there was a video of it, and like the tool head was going around and even like the tool head wire was like flopping around and hanging down below the nozzle, like hitting the print, and it was a pretty
That's
suspect video.
terrible. It also looks like I'm looking at looking at some of the screenshots of the ones that people were unboxing,
Yeah.
and it looks like they've done some changes to it because on the ones that they have, the spools are held at the bottom, and then in the screenshot, the spools are like in the middle. Granted, the screenshot could be the what's actually wrong,
Yeah.
but the spools are like more closer to the middle of the side of it. So who knows?
Yeah.
I'll
The other one there was, do you remember it was a low cost, they were touting it as a low cost $600 high temp like peak PEC and Ultim printer.
Is that the one that had the spools in the base of it or something?
Yeah, the Eliarchi, I think the Eliarchi
Oh,
something.
somebody was selling one of those in Canada when I was up there.
Yeah, I think it was like the Eliarchi Alkbin or something. It had like the screen that popped out of the side of it. It folded out. The only person I knew, there were a couple of people that got one. I think Jim got one, wasn't it?
I think he did.
Yeah, but that one kind of fell off the stream now, and like I'm looking it up right now, and now it's $1,000, and it was supposed to be $600 and like super low, but it's like out of stock. But yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling
it's doing 5 filaments, so that's always a plus.
Yeah. So yeah, I have a feeling the printer that shall be unnamed. I have a feeling, based on my experience with that company, theirs will be good. Like, I'm not even going to name how many colors because that might give it away to someone, or they might search it up and then let the cat out of the bag. But
right,
I have a feeling that if theirs will be good, because their printer that I have experience with is amazing. So and I don't think they would release something unless it was really good.
Yeah,
But
I hope so.
it's gonna be really hard.
I'm
for you
rooting.
to get
I'm rooting for him.
yeah, you do need to get the
The predecessor.
yes. Yeah, I would
I want
highly,
it.
especially for the price.
Yeah, the price is crazy.
Yeah.
What's the shipping?
Then if you
That's
don't like
real
it, I'll
question.
just take it. I'll buy it
No,
off you. I'll buy it off you. I'll come
nope.
pick it up.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, I was actually super excited about that LER cheap printer because to have us to be under $1,000 for a
Mhm.
high temp machine that could do peak or ultim is like, I mean, it's basically unheard of, but that thing just kind of fell off the face of the
That's not
planet.
even the one I was talking about. There was another printer. I think we covered like early in one of the early episodes, and it had like the filament in like the base. It had like the bottom of it was like so freaking fat on this printer.
That
And
wasn't the round printer, the
wasn't it? Was it round?
Kickstarter that was what the hell was that called? It was like oval shaped, right? But it
Yeah,
was just a bed slinger. But it was
yeah.
what was
It
that
was weird
called?
looking though. Yeah, that thing
Yeah.
was weird looking.
I don't think the Kickstarter ever got funded. I remember looking at it and it just basically didn't go anywhere, and it was like really low end funding.
Yeah,
I'm just guessing they didn't make their kick. I can't even remember the name of it. It
I
actually
can't even.
it didn't look bad, but it
It
was
didn't
really
look bad.
weird
It was weird as hell, but it
because it
didn't
was
look
oval
bad.
shape and the bed came out really far out of the back and the front.
Yeah.
See if I
Shit.
can find it real quick.
I mean,
But
shoot. So
yeah, I was excited about the Wonder Maker. I was kind of hoping that was going to be
just
not
from
a
a
flop.
competition that now it's like
Yeah,
you look at because at one point it was just the only ones we knew of were the U1 and the Wonder Maker, and
yeah.
now you have so many other tool changers popping up, mass produced tool changers. I don't know we need to come up with a
Holy,
name for that, but
I'm never going to find it. There's so many in there.
no, yeah,
Yeah. Um,
over the counter tool changers. There you go,
yeah. There's just so
off the
many.
shelf. We got to come on off the shelf tool change.
Well, the Yumi, remember the Yumi with like the 12 colors across the top of it?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think that ever amounted to anything either.
So what? Wait, what? It didn't?
Like, hey, I was down for the 5 color of that because yes, it was, but it was still 5. I thought 5 because at the time there was no other 5 color and we wanted
You
5, but that
you're
was
trying
it.
to tell me that the Yumi wasn't a success? I don't believe you.
According to the CEO of Yumi, it was going to change the world. And I believed him. I didn't really, but remember he did that video where he was like standing on top of it?
I never saw it, but I heard
Yeah.
it. I heard about
So
it.
because
Like,
people were like, there's no way that the top of that is gonna sustain the weight of like 12 spools. And he did a video where he was like standing on top of like the thing, and he's like, and it was like, I guess I can't remember, but if I remember, I believe it was like it looked in the picture, it looked like it was like bolted to the table, like they had modified it to
dude,
hold it. But
that would immediately be the used car salesman red flag for me. Like, nah, I'm good.
yeah, yeah,
The fact that you did this makes me not want it even more.
yeah. I cannot find that oval shaped printer. That's gonna bug
No,
me too.
it is gonna bother me,
But
but
it
that thing
had
was weird.
Tico vibes to it, just because the Tico
Oh
was
God,
like odd shaped
plastic
too.
shell.
That was
Yeah.
like triangular shape. I actually backed that.
Why?
That just because it was funny but I actually backed that. That's the only 3D printer I've ever backed that I never got.
Really, if they had tons of them, you can get them on Goodwill right now.
I know. I almost did because so Matt and I have talked. I mean, everybody knows that I like to collect printers, right? Just to like have it, whether I ever even use it, I just like to have had it for a period of time, have my fun and my experience with it, and then send it on its way. But there's one printer that was a Kickstarter that I always wanted was the Kodama Trinus, which is that one I got off the site that will
Go,
also be unnamed.
I already said it once.
But so I have that now, and I wanted it off things, so I found it there. But the other one is the Robo R1, which literally like a month after that R1 came out, it basically became like no good, because like so many other printers came out right after it and basically made it obsolete. But I always wanted a Robo R1 just because I liked the look of it. And I always wanted one, and I've never, and that's one of the printers that I've never owned. And someday I will find one used and I'll buy it just to like put it on a shelf somewhere and say that I finally got one.
I'm surprised that you can't find it, because I remember seeing this and I did not like the look of it at all. I hated it so much. No, the Robo R1 I seen.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it because it was like, it was blue, black, and white. It looked cool. It had like blue LEDs in it. It was just, I loved that thing.
It does look like the printer that would show up. Somebody's got one for $110 on Goodwill. I mean, not Goodwill.
Yeah, way too much. Like I would never like max $40 for that thing, because it would probably never. I'll probably push plastic in it to do a calibration cube, put it on a shelf, and then it'll stay there for the rest of its life.
But it's sunburned too.
Yeah,
it's all of the white is like yellow now.
Yeah, a lot of them went the I don't know if it was powder. I think it was like a powder coated metal frame that was around it, that a lot of them yellowed because of the sun.
When you said it looked so cool or whatever you said, I was like, wait, I know what printing
it doesn't look cool now, but at the time when it came out, it looked cool.
I didn't like it when it came out. Oh my god,
that was like circa 2017, 18. No. Like, yeah, that was 2017.
It's expensive. Mingda has a ADE F4 3D printer.
Mingda.
I can't tell what size this thing is, because it's spools, unless it's using baby spools on it. This is all right.
Grenier said it. The name.
Nothing about this is true.
Yeah.
Why would you betray me like that?
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, I know someone else who has one, because he bought that. Remember, him and I were like going back and forth, and then I found it. I saw him with it at 3D Printopia, and I was like, "You bastard!" Like, him and I were going back and forth bidding on it, and he got it. I won't say his name though, because I just called him a bastard. But if anybody should have had it, he should have had it, because those are his things.
Yeah, it's quite a few of them.
Yeah. Oh, so the other thing I wanted to talk about was, if anybody had seen Maker's Muse's latest video. So a lot of people who print PLA, right, and only print PLA, everybody's always trying to come up with like ways to print PLA that are strong, so you get the strongest use out of PLA. And we all know that PLA, if you've ever used it for anything functional, PLA has zero tolerance for impact, right? Like, you impact PLA in his use case, it just shatters, right? So it has very low impact. But his video is pretty cool with, and I wanted to share this here. I won't like go all the way out, because you should go watch his video, but it was pretty cool.
You're pretty cool.
It's gonna do that thing. Steve, adjust the thing. I think it's one of your
we can fix it. Just pick the second one.
I can't see yours. There you go.
Oh, not that guy.
Not that
Ignore
guy.
him.
There you go. Ignore him. You did it again. So yeah, this is Maker's Muse thing, and what was pretty cool about it was, I'm trying to move it on the screen. I gotta go down. So what was neat was, so I've done a lot of full, like 100% infill on PLA or PETG, ASA, all these things for strength. But his thing was pretty neat, and I've done this before, but he was doing one thing on it that I thought was pretty neat, which I think came out in either this version or the previous version of Orca. So if you want something in Orca to be 100%, there's a couple different ways to do it. So one of the easiest ways to do it is just to come down here, obviously, and do 100% infill, right? And you get 100% infill. Another way to do it is to just do 99 on the wall loops, right? So if you do 99 on the wall loops, you basically get 100% infill too. But so that's what he was doing with his test. But the other way that he was doing it was 100% infill. And then when he was coming in here, let me actually go back down. Let me see here. Quality. All right. So he's modifying the inner wall and the internal solid infill to make a thicker line width on the infill to try to smush the layers together to infill the infill, to try to reduce gaps. Because even when you print PLA at 100% infill, whenever you have gaps or voids inside that solid part, any of those gaps and voids is a place where that is a weakness, right? And that part can shatter apart. So in this case, this is a little blade for his ant weight tool. So this thing spins around and impacts other ant weights and metal walls and all kinds of things. So he was trying to come up with a way to increase the part strength using PLA. So what he was doing here was doing a 0.4 and then 0.8 on the internal solid to get a little bit more squish on the inside. But this was the cool part. So let me find it in here. Now I can't find it. So, oh, right here. So this is the neat thing, right? So if you set it like this, or actually, let me find the other setting. So, okay, if I uncheck alternate extra wall and I slice, this is what he was showing in his video. So if I come in here, you can see, even with 100% infill, it's stacking all these layers. So in this case, you're getting a little like a void right here. And what he was trying to do was he was trying to prevent these voids. So because every layer is just stacked, you have that void that goes down through that whole part. So whenever the tip of this blade was hitting, this whole part could shatter off. So he was saying by alternating extra walls, which is a setting I've used before, is cool, because then what it does is it alternates those layers so that every layer is different. So that whole void here and the voids throughout the part were gone just by simply alternating those layers. But there was a setting in Orca that is fairly new that was kind of an additional step onto that, and that is called set other flow ratios. So you've always been able to adjust the flow, right? You've been able to extrude more. So you could go from 1 to like 1.02 or 1.04 and extrude more material and squish those layers together to get better layer adhesion and prevent voids. But it was always applied to all walls, everything in the part. So it would change the dimensions and the accuracy of the part, because it would affect the outside walls, the inside walls of holes and bolt holes and all that stuff. So now you can do it per layer. So you can do it for individual layers. So like first layers, outer walls. So what he was saying is coming in, and now that you have that alternating layers, you can come in on internal solid infill, and you could increase just the flow rate on the internal solid infill only. So what happens is you increase the flow on the internal layer width in the internal layers to get more squish to decrease those voids even further, but it doesn't apply that increased flow to outer walls, internal walls, holes, anything else. So it doesn't affect the part's accuracy. or its print quality. The outside, you're not going to see any difference on the outside. So this is pretty neat. And I think he said it came out on the last Orca update.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems pretty minimal, but it's a pretty awesome addition to be able to do something like this for something like part strength. And he was able to do this. So this is his actual part, right? This is directly
Mm-hmm.
from him with all of his settings. So everything that's set right now is exactly how he printed this ant weight weapon. Is basically, it's a spinner that spins horizontally. And prior to using these settings, he was basically breaking. These were hitting and they were just shattering and they were breaking. He was going through all kinds of them. After this, he was able to use a PLA plus printed part, that was striking other ant weight robots, metal walls, hitting bolts on metal walls. And in the entire competition, he only used 2 of them. He started with one,
Mm-hmm.
and that one didn't even break. It just started to round over. So he swapped it out for a second one. Same with that one. It was hitting metal parts. And this thing is spinning very fast, like
Mm-hmm.
ant weight robot, but the equivalent of it spinning is spinning at a speed like a battle bot, a 250-pound battle bot, right? That's the equivalent of how fast this thing is spinning. And he only went through 2 of these, and they didn't even break. Only the very tip right here rounded over. Nothing shattered, and the tool was still usable. So the cool thing about it is that advancements in Slicer in simple settings, like allowing different flow ratios for different layers and different parts within the same print, can allow us to use something like PLA differently, right? You can add strength to a PLA plus part without ever changing the material. You're only changing how you print the part, right? And it's always been the case, but it's that thing where we say, you don't necessarily in 3D printing have to have a new printer or even
Yeah.
a new material or something that blows the roof off all of us in the 3D printing community. Sometimes there are huge advancements in slicing that we might not even be aware of until someone like Maker's Muse does a video about it, or the CNC Kitchen, or somebody talks about it on a podcast to make you aware of something like this, right? A simple flag. And now you're able to print a PLA part and get the durability that you would have gotten from an ASA. But in these ant weight parts that a lot of kids are printing, one, these kids probably don't print ASA, don't have machines that can print ASA. And 2, these ant weight robots can't have ASA in them. They can only use PLA, PETG, and TPU, I think it was. So,
Really?
yeah, so they didn't have an option of going to a stronger material like polycarbonate or ASA or ABS. So the only alternative is to find a way to use the material you have, PLA plus, and just make it stronger by finding a different way to print it. So yeah, if you guys follow Maker's Muse, if you don't, follow him, because his stuff is really cool. He lives in Australia, really smart guy. But it was such a simple 8-minute video. But now that I know that, and I've done all of these settings that he's done, but I had not yet updated to the latest version of Orca, which is 2.3.2, which allows this setting to come out. So it's pretty neat. I just wanted to share it. I went down a rabbit hole with that, but
You did. You did. You were gone. I let you be you.
it's
I
just
wanted you
cool.
to shine.
Like the little advancements that we've had in firmware on machines, and then
Yeah.
software slicer can allow amazing things, and it's just a simple flag in a slicer, right? And
Yeah.
like, if I hadn't have seen that video, it could have been another year before I noticed that.
Well, very
Right?
similar something I had spied was and they had it in full control. Hold on, I'm trying to get my screen together. They had it in full control at one point.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's still a part of it, but someone's made a website dedicated to it, which is the whole wave overhangs happening. Let's see if it comes up. Come on, there we go. So basically, it's doing the whole where's the generic one? This whole thing where instead of it
Oh
just
yeah, yeah.
going straight up, it's doing like the curves
Yep.
so that it can build up the overhang.
Yep.
And then you can see, for the most part, I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, it's
No.
still early on. They made their own, excuse me, fork of Orca. But now that's one thing that I was thinking about was like now we get to the point where like you have so many forks of Orca, like full spectrum, uh, the thing that got shut down, bamboo,
Yeah.
this,
Well, the thing
the-
is though, when someone forks Orca and does
yeah,
something like this, the devs
yeah,
in Orca can see this and go, "That's friggin' awesome,
oh yeah,
right?" And they can reach out to
yeah,
these people and they can backfill that into mainline Orca. Um, and yeah, it's
so you can see like someone's using it to print, you know, a like a hole for the most part.
yeah.
It looks really cool. It
Yeah,
looks
because
cool
these
how
type of things,
they
I mean,
use
what
it.
it does is it you get to keep quality overhangs,
Yeah,
but it reduces time and material, right? Because now
yeah,
it's less supports you have to print, which uses less material and less time. So it's yeah, these are the things that are just that blow my mind. The little features and stuff in Slicer that they add.
yeah. This one doesn't have. Oh, you can kind of see it under here, under the bottom, how it
Yeah,
did this. This is obviously that what we're seeing is the bottom of the print, and
yeah,
then this is the
the
underside
overhang.
of the top surface. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
It'd be
CNC
cool.
Kitchen did a video on something similar to this. I don't know if it's the wave
I don't.
overhangs, but
I remember he did something similar with like the walls,
yeah.
where it was doing the like,
Yeah, so he did a video similar. There was a group doing basically they were doing overhangs. So if you had a large overhang, it was coming through and just looping it out,
yeah,
and it would just keep building them out. But it was how that one worked is if you had a round overhang, it would create like a bunch of loops, and it would do it a bunch of times until it got to the outside price. So this one very similar to this one, but this one seems a little bit more optimized, where
yeah,
you're not having so many different changes. So your part structure is probably going to be stronger. Like your layer adhesion is going to be stronger. You're going to have
yeah.
less
Well,
voids in that.
I think here's the thing: they could do something as simple as like I don't know, like one support at the corner, right?
Yeah,
So that as you're working one support at the corner. Let's say if you're doing like a porch in a sense, you just do one corner post, and then once you get to the first layer of support boards, you can just do one line coming across. That way you have at least something to keep it kind of level. Because in some of them you can see that there's some warping or something
yeah,
from the filament in itself. So
yeah.
I
And
think
you're
that
going to
would be
have that with just the heat and the
yeah,
sag and the
exactly.
gravity and the
So like maybe combine like it doesn't have to. It kind of like the whole thing with 3D printing. Just because you have 3D printers, you have to 3D print everything. Just because you have wave overhangs doesn't mean you can't combine that with a single support of some sort, or
yeah,
a support with like a bridge going to another part. That way you have
yeah.
just a base structure to kind of like
Well, that
hang
was
on
that
top
was
of.
that was back in the day when Simplify 3D came out, right? Because prior to Simplify 3D, when you used something like Cura and you generated supports, it generated supports wherever it wanted to based off um, its coding saying if this
Hmm.
is an overhang and it's over 30 degrees, I'm going to stick a support there. And you'd have supports friggin' everywhere. And Simplify 3D was the first slicer to come out that had the paint on supports, where you could add or delete supports easily. And that's that same type of thing where, like, now that we have the ability to put a single support wherever we want, you can do something like that in conjunction with wave overhangs, where you can have huge overhangs, but a support or two to do that huge overhang and still have the quality of the part, but yet save time and save material. So yeah, it's just the advancements in slicing. I think, I mean, it seems like every other week somebody's talking about something where, it was full spectrum or some crazy overhang thing or some setting that Orc is actually implementing.
Yeah, speaking of, actually, that also reminded me of another thing. I'm on a Mac most of the time, like almost 99.9% of the time.
I'm sorry.
But I installed the latest release of Bamboo Slicer, and it just broke. It wouldn't even open.
Yeah,
Like it would.
heard that.
And so, yeah. So, I found out that they had a beta, and the beta works. So I installed that beta, and inside the beta, if you go to like your devices tab or something, they have a new section in there called filament management. That it looks like that they're adding. I don't know if this is in conjunction with using only their filament
Yeah.
or what, but they have some kind of filament management system. I haven't had a chance to mess around with it. But I wonder if this is kind of like also the kind of like work in line with the whole full spectrum implementation, so that you have your folks in there,
Yeah.
and then you can just add them to, or swap them in and out easily. But I thought it was interesting,
I wonder if they would.
well, they're going to use that data.
That almost seems. Well, that almost seems like that's like a primer for adding, like, what's their HueForge ripoff, like Chroma Canvas?
Chroma Canvas. Is it Chroma Canvas or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, it almost seems like a primer to adding something like that directly in
Slicer. Yeah, that's true.
Where you could just slice a HueForge directly in the slicer.
That is
right?
big brain over there, man.
Without having to, I mean, that would be like, I mean, ultimately, I think that's what, like, you want, everybody wants, like, whenever you have something that's like an all-in-one, right? Like
Yeah.
I can do A and B in two separate softwares, but if I have a C software where it does both, like,
yeah,
great, right? So, I mean, maybe that's a primer to that, like doing some type of, I think it was Chroma Canvas, right? I mean, it was a way limited version of HueForge, but
I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't even.
I've never used it. I looked at it, but I never used it.
I'm pro HueForge more so. Like, even if I'm not using it actively, I'm more pro HueForge than I am anybody trying to kind of.
Oh yeah, 100%
hold in on it. Speaking of pro HueForge, Additive Atom came out with a plugin for HueForge that exports. It makes it like 10 times easier. Because before you would have to do your HueForge, and then you would import an STL into the slicer, and then you'd have to go through and set all the layers. And if you had something like very detailed, that's a lot of layers. That's a lot of stuff you had to do.
Yeah,
you don't have to do that anymore.
Well,
there's a plugin by Additive Atom.
It didn't take a ton of time, but it was a little bit of quite a manual thing. Like, if you were going in there and changing, like, setting like 6 pauses and setting the colors, like it was kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest. Like,
absolutely.
It was one of those things that, like, was just a kind of a nail in the coffin of, like, me not wanting to do a HueForge, just because I'm like, oh my God, it's so much little thing. So it's a huge thing to just remove those mundane
hindrance. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, that didn't bother me too much, because I feel like the magic of making a HueForge. So having to do that wasn't a big deal. It was when you started adding a bunch of colors, and you had to do a lot more swaps where you're like, holy crap, I got to do, because of the way that these are blending, I got to do like, 15 swaps. And then if you mess up on one of them, you're like, oh, I got to go back and fix this math to get
Yeah,
this
like
swap
the
right.
wrong
Now
color
it's
and the
just
wrong
like,
tool head, and it like
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Now it's like, okay, I can export this and import it right into my slicer without having to do the legwork. Oh, it's
And
gangbusters.
as I said, like if you're doing multiple manual swaps in a single tool head, I find that actually easier. If you're doing
Hmm.
multiple color
Across
swaps
multiple
in a
heads.
tool head, it adds a
Yeah.
little bit of complexity to it
Oh
because,
yeah.
like I said, now you've got 4 tool heads that you're worried about. So now you have to make sure that you do that manual. They have to do that swap in the right
Yeah.
tool head, right? Because if you put
Yeah.
it in the wrong one and you get different colors, it's going to ruin the whole thing. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, Adam says he's got advanced logic to pause at the 4 on it's a little icon on a
yeah,
tool changer
that's
like
perfect.
U1. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's also working on something else super secret. So if you're not following Additive Adam, follow him.
Yeah.
He's on everything as Additive Adam. So make sure you follow him so you stay up to date on some of the cool stuff he's working on.
Well, that's that,
But
I mean,
yeah.
any type of plugin or feature you add to HueForge is awesome, right? Because the only complaint that I've ever heard about HueForge
Hmm.
is that it has a steep learning curve, right? That it
Hmm.
like the UI is not intuitive, and it has a steep learning curve. So if you start adding things that lessen that curve and makes it easier to use, it's only going to make people that use it more, and then bring people that have kind of shied away from it,
Yeah.
wanting to use it. So it's a cool software. Like I said, we were actually talking about it in Discord earlier today. Like I had downloaded 9.3.2 or whatever the latest version is,
Hmm.
and I actually had just opened it or just before the stream. Um, and I do like some of the visual changes in that a little bit. That looks better than when I first went from 8.1 to 9 point whatever it was. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I've got to dive back into it because I haven't really delved into it with all the new
Yeah.
color matching stuff and whatever else is in it. So I gotta use it more. But
Yeah. That's the
oh
site https://additiveadam.com. So if you're not following him, check him out. He's working on cool stuff.
yeah,
Uh, he's always in our Discord. So if you have ideas, drop in. If you have opinions, go to another Discord. No, I'm kidding. But yeah. uh,
so
but yeah.
yeah, I was just looking at the Orca updates in addition to that little flag that they added. Um, and this seems silly, but if any of you have printed multi-material with like TPU and PLA, and you've used the beam interlocking feature, which interlocks the PLA and the TPU together,
Hmm.
they've added the ability to allow cancellation for beam interlocking. So before, this seems ridiculous, but one of the issues with beam interlocking is that when you would when you would enable it and then you would slice it and it would start the beam interlocking generation, you
Hmm.
couldn't cancel that. And if it was really complicated and
Oh.
something that it would take forever. So if you went to slice it and then realized like, oh my God, I need to put 4 walls on that instead of 3, you had to wait for that whole thing to generate, where and sometimes depending on the part, it would take forever. And now they've allowed the ability to cancel that mid process, which seems ridiculous, but if you use it a lot, it's an awesome addition. It's a quality of life addition.
Just give me an idea.
They also did something with SnapMaker. It says The SnapMaker printer agent now recognizes aesthetic filament subtypes, wood infused, matte, marble for better profile matching instead of falling back to generic PLA. So that's cool.
I wonder. I don't want to say it because TechJeeper might go and make it.
Well, no, say it because then you'll make it and then we can use it. So it's good.
Well, what if I want to make it?
Okay. I say you can just will it out into the world with TechJeeper, or you can keep it close to your
You can
chest.
technically. What I was going to say was it would be cool to be able to add your own top patterns for like your top surfaces. So like
Oh,
like
like
you
Hilbert
have
curve or something like
yeah,
that.
but if you wanted to add like say you wanted to do like fractal pattern or
So I'm pretty sure someone did that. I know Vicky did the infill.
infill, but not
I'm
the
pretty
top
sure
surface.
someone did that already.
I hope so because then that's less time that I have to wait for it. Only because I'm
I don't
thinking
think it
about
was
the
that often.
patches and like
But
even though Hilbert curve makes the patches look like leather, I wouldn't mind being able to import like a pattern or whatever.
so I'm pretty. If you look it
Something.
up, I'm pretty sure there's at least one GitHub of that somebody's already done that. And I don't know how it worked. I never looked into it, but I'm like 99.9% sure that someone has already done that. I don't know if it was something after the fact, like you uploaded the part after the fact and added it, or if it was something that was like an integration with Orca or a fork of Orca. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure
Well, like I said,
someone's done that.
you can do it with bump mesh now. You just add the texture and then
Yeah,
show
but it's
all
not
the.
kind of like a true top layer in the sense
No,
of
it's not.
but it would be kind of neat to. It would be tough though, because depending on you would probably want it to only do like the very top layer or the top two layers, because depending on how you designed
Yeah,
that top layer, whatever that infill layer is, it may not lay well across that. So you would want it to do just like a normal, rectilinear for a couple layers, and then the top like one or two layers be like the fancy design. Yeah, I'll have to see if I can find that. I'm pretty sure I saw someone. It was a couple years ago though. So, yep. What other ideas? Say it there so TechJeeper can make them.
I know, right? He's not even here, so he can say whatever he want to say today. You don't have to worry about him making it. You ain't gotta worry about it.
Oh, he did the. What was it? I said something about the Tinkercad and its inability to do chamfers and fillets.
Yeah, he made it. He made
And he made something where you could upload a part, right? And it would chamfer and fillet.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it yet. I got to though. I will.
Now the only thing about that is if you're because sometimes your chamfer or your fillets are a part of the next step, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like you need those chamfers and fillets before you finish your model. Whereas this is taking, I think, the finished model and then adding chamfers and fillets to it, which still is very helpful. But if
Yeah.
you need them for, like, oh, I want to chamfer and fillet this so that I can make this part look like a diamond, then oh God, he's here.
Yeah. I mean, it would have to be. It would have to be for a finished model that
Yeah, for
you
finished
just
model.
wanted to be able to transfer that. It couldn't be part of the pre-design, the initial design of the part, because
Yeah.
I mean, unless you specifically designed it in to do that, but
All right.
so I'll have to check that out because I don't know. Like, I mean, I just do it in Fusion, but I'm trying to think of a scenario like if I could only design in Tinkercad, like, and I might try to do that. I might try to come up with a design where I would only be able to do that I don't know Fusion and I'm designing this part in Tinkercad and I want to do chamfers and fillets, but there's no easy way of doing it. And then I could take it out and test it in his thing. I'm trying to think of something I could do. But
that's the other thing is that Tinkercad has gotten really cool. I need to start messing around with it just so that I can help people that I send to
They've added a
Tinkercad.
lot of features to it.
They had, but now it's like I'm sending people to it, and then like I fear that somebody might come back and be like, "Hey, I'm using Tinkercad, and how do I do this?" I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! I haven't used Tinkercad in years. I just told you to go to it because it's easy."
Yeah, that's the issue with it now, right? Is that if you don't use something regularly,
Yeah,
you might know the old way of doing it, and there might be like an easier way. That's why. So I use Fusion, and I use Plasticity, and then I use Nomad.
hmm
But I try. FreeCAD is always coming out with like really cool stuff, and they just came out with a new addition to how you can what they call extruding is called padding. So if you have a square face and you want to pad that or extrude that, my biggest complaint in FreeCAD was that you could never just select that face, right? Like in Fusion,
yeah.
if I want to pull something out, I just click on the face and extrude it. Well, in FreeCAD, you couldn't do that. You had to select all 4 edges. So you had to go through and select all 4 edges, and then you could extrude that square. They've
Oh, okay.
updated that now to where you can just select the face. And it seems ridiculous. It's kind of like that, what we were just talking about in like some of the things in Orca Slice of the thing. It seems ridiculous, but it's such a quality of life thing because every time you go to extrude, it's 4 less clicks, right? So like that adds up when you're designing a very complicated part. But yeah, I'll have to look at Tinkercad too because it's been a while. I haven't. So they added. I did check they added the ability to put like an SVG in that was easier than it was, or it's just the ability to do it. And then that other one too with the can't remember what they called it. There was some other cool thing that they had done, but I'll have to play with it. But you probably use it more than I do, don't you? I don't.
What?
I usually just do stuff in Fusion, but do you use Tinkercad a lot?
No,
No,
not at all.
you
I'm
just use Shaper. Yeah,
Shaper pretty much all day,
yeah,
and then Nomad for organic stuff.
yeah. I don't use it much anymore. I used to every once in a while if it was something that was super blocky and nothing like that I needed to be fancy, I would just jump into Tinkercad and throw it together. But I'm actually faster in Fusion than I am in Tinkercad for anything, so I almost
Yeah,
never use it anymore. But and I always said like like Cody says FreeCAD for everything. I'm trying my best to switch to FreeCAD. I use FreeCAD at least a handful of times a month, trying to transition my Fusion skills into FreeCAD. My
hmm
biggest thing though was the ability to just not be able to select a face to extrude it, or they call it padding. Now that
yeah,
that's done, that was kind of like my last thing in FreeCAD. That was like, so now it's just like building my menus in FreeCAD so that everything is easily available and readily accessible, like I have in Fusion. But
yeah. That's the hard part is shortcuts, and
yeah,
when you jump between the two, like
because
for a
Fusion's
while,
so expensive, and I'm
was
tired of the price.
yeah, Shaper. When I was something, it was like when I was using Shaper and I was using Nomad, but I was using Nomad on the iPad, but with keyboard and mouse, and then going between the two was it was a bit of a headache.
Yeah,
And because you got just certain ways that you can move an object in one that you can't move in the other, and just vice versa. So
yeah,
finally, kind of like lock that stuff down, which makes it a lot easier.
yeah. And then in even plasticity, like I'm always, whether it's plasticity or um, well, even Shaper 3D, like I go in and make the controls Fusion. Like
Yeah,
I set all the controls up in any CAD software, and even FreeCAD, I match
yeah,
the controls to be Fusion because that's what I'm used to, right? So Like when
But
I
one of them you can is it Shaper or one of them you can do that. You can say, hey, I'm used to using blah blah blah. Set
yeah,
my
you
heat
can
to
in
that.
Shaper and Plasticity,
Yeah.
and FreeCAD. Actually, all of them you can do. You can change the controls to match
Yeah.
other stuff that you're familiar with. But like I think Blender's usually an option. I know Fusion's an option. SolidWorks is another option. Um, I don't know if Onshape does or not. Onshape is kind of like its own thing. I can't ever get used to Onshape. Our
Yeah, I
robotics
need to
team
watch
using
some
Onshape.
tutorials. I
Yeah.
don't understand. I opened it up and I was like, yeah, I don't know what's going
The
on here.
layout
And
is just
yeah, I closed it
so.
immediately.
The biggest issues with it is so in Fusion and in FreeCAD, your tabs are at the top. With
Yeah.
Onshape, your tabs are at the bottom, and it drives me friggin' nuts. Like I cannot get used to that, and I've tried to find ways to if you can flip those to the top. I don't think you can. It's just simple stuff but it's just visually, I can't. I just can't get used to it. Anything we would ever do with like the robotics team, I would do it in Fusion. I would export
Hmm.
that file. I would put it into their Onshape, and then I'd say, do whatever you need to do with it. Because I can't, I can't, I can't start in Onshape. I can do something in Fusion, move it over to Onshape, and then do it from there. But I'm significantly slower in Onshape than I am Fusion. But
You just
so
reminded me.
Tech Cheaper says, "Have you tried Cadit?" So Cadit, I'm assuming you mean the cookie Cadit.
Yeah.
And if so, yes, I have used it. Pretty neat. I do know that they are adding new features to it frequently, but I haven't.
They had it on display at Remurf. I didn't get a chance to really look at it, but it looked good.
Yeah, I
They
know
used
they just added like a big feature to it. I can't remember what it is, but
I think they used JSCAD is what it's called.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah, it does look neat. The only thing, so my one issue with it,
Hmm.
is that it's so friggin' bright. But they came out with dark mode, and that was like
Hmm.
a game changer because the original before they had the dark mode, it was just white and it was so friggin' bright. But it is neat. I do see where um, someone would like it, especially if they're making like text-based stuff, like
Yeah.
nameplates or keychains or something, which you could do in Tinkercad. But yeah, it's a neat like I think anytime you could create a software, whether it's web-based that makes it easier for someone who 3D prints but doesn't CAD to
Hmm.
create their own stuff, um, is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I think that's like that. In my opinion, I've always like I know some people are like, oh, you can 3D print for 20 years and never have to design anything yourself. And I'm like, I don't believe that. I think that I just couldn't imagine spending 20 years in 3D printing
Yeah.
and never wanting to just design something yourself. Like I
This
couldn't
one.
imagine spending that much time in 3D printing only printing stuff you find on a marketplace,
Yep.
and that being, I mean,
But
everybody's different, but
yeah, I was saying it's no shade to anybody else.
yeah,
I'm the same way. Like I'd rather make it myself and then print it, design it myself. Uh, because I don't know, it's just something about doing it that way that makes it
yeah.
funner
But it's
for
not
me.
even. It's for me. It's more like years ago, like 12 years ago, when I first started like designing my own stuff. It was more out of necessity, right? It wasn't a sculpting
Oh
aesthetic.
yeah,
It was like
the
I needed a bush. Well, one example, my heat pumps had a gear that when you turned the heat pump on, the whole thing like rose up, right? And there was a little
yeah,
gear in there. and that broke. So when you turn the heat pump off, it would go up and then fall down because that gear was broke. So I wanted to design that gear, or I wanted to 3D print that gear, and I could not find that anywhere. It wasn't anywhere. I found one on Tinkercad, but it was a different model than the Fujitsu heat pump I have, and it wasn't right. So I had to take mine and measure all the parts, and I did it at that time in FreeCAD because I hadn't, this was 12 years ago, and I hadn't used Fusion yet. Or no, it wasn't. It was SketchUp. I think it was SketchUp. But I used a CAD software at the time, and it took me for friggin' ever. And I finally got it designed, and I printed it, and it worked. And at that point, I was like, I've got to friggin' learn how to CAD because this is ridiculous. But I knew at that point, like if I ever found anything like that, a specific part that I needed to replicate, and I wanted to replicate it with 3D printing, which was at the point when I got into 3D printing years ago, that was the point, right? I wanted to do it so that I could make parts that I needed to replicate.
Yeah, well, also there weren't as many repositories for models as well, so you kind of had to do a lot of stuff on your own. Right?
Yeah.
Back in your day, back in my day.
But yeah, it's one of those things where like it just, for me, it was like I got frustrated of like not being able to find the exact part that I needed. Or I'd find something and it was like so close to what I wanted, but it was just like a tiny bit off. And I was like, so I kind of got into it, starting like modifying existing stuff. And then I was like, it's just easier to design it from design it myself from scratch.
Yeah.
Cody's right. It is magic, right? Like when you learn how to CAD and you can CAD your own stuff to fix something and then 3D print it and manufacture it in your own house, it's like world changing, right?
Well, I mean, just the fact that like it's something that was either in your head, even if you're modifying, so if you like heavily modify it, like to where now you've definitely made it your own.
Yeah.
Printing out and seeing it firsthand is just like it's next level. You're like, that was in my head.
Well,
I printed it out and now it's in my hand.
Like this here. So like this is my favorite coffee mug holder, right? And I can't remember the person who designed this, but it's on printables. It's like one of the most thing, but this thing is amazing, right? Like 3D printed in your own home, and something like that you would have had to buy, and you couldn't even buy stuff like that, at the time. Like nobody was making anything that looked like that. And now you can when you think about it, it's like, oh, I need a specific type. So these are for a guy. These are for a guy at work who wanted a laptop holder, right? So you just put it like that, and you set your laptop in it because he wanted one that was at a specific angle, and he could never find existing laptop stands that held it at the angle that he wanted to. And then the ones that had the adjustable angle, his perfect angle was always in between two of the adjustments. So I was like, just tell me how the angle you want, and I'll throw these together, and they're perfect. Just like stupid stuff like that. But yeah. What time is it? 9:35. We're 5 minutes over, Steve. You look like you're looking for something.
I was looking for raid targets. No, I was trying to find a good target. See if we can find someone new, but it's really not anybody new that is actually at their machine.
Karen's got a good example. It's like cooking. Some people prefer to cook from scratch. That's right. And some people prefer to make their street tacos out of a container.
Street tacos.
I can't.
Oh,
I'm
man,
gonna
so
try
many.
those. So all right, we are 9:35. So we're gonna stop rambling, and Steve's gonna find a raid target for you Twitch folk. For you Twitch folk, and
Twitch folk.
which I can do this in YouTube too. I'm just not going to do it.
Just I don't know if you even find anybody, to be honest.
Well, no. So in YouTube, apparently you have to set it up prior to.
Really?
So you
That's
have to
crazy.
like know who is going to be like.
Just copy. That
From
should
what
just
I've seen,
copy.
you can't do it like in the moment. But
We're gonna raid into Polyfo. I
Poly,
don't know.
he does leatherwork stuff, right?
He does droids and
Oh, that's right.
designing and stuff like that. There may be some choice language.
Adult content.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, we're gonna raid into Polyfo.
stay with
So
us, and when you get in there, say hi.
yeah, say hi or
Hi.
whatever.
Chill out for a
And we
bit.
appreciate you guys. We will be back next week. We'll see what we're doing next week. We may have a guest for you guys. But yeah, we're getting close to 1 year. We'll do it at the
Yep.
52 episodes. That way it gives us some cushion.
Yeah.
But we're getting close to 1 year of Unspooled. We'll be beyond that. Actually, like next week
Chronologically,
show.
we'll be beyond
Yeah,
it, but we're just
next
going on like 52 weeks.
episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna try to line up some stuff on that, and we appreciate you guys hanging around, coming and hanging out with us. We will be back next week with more 3D printing stuff, more maker related information. So we'll see you guys then.
So have a good night. Hit us up in the Discord if you guys aren't in there.
Yep.
Unspooled Discord. Hit us up if you need a link. The link's on the website and X and all the socials. But so all right. Later, guys.
Later.